It's a Friday evening after a long, frustrating work week, and I finally got some ambition going again to make another vinyl collector video. And as you can see by the title, it's going to be after the obvious, after the Beatles came through in America here. Kind of opened the tide for all these other British groups of varying degrees of talent to find acceptance over here. And so let's get into it. Some of these records I have are original, some of them are like reissues. I don't have any super rarities or anything like that, but it might be kind of a pathetically small collection to some of you collectors out there, but I thought I got them out of my collection, and I decided to show them to you here. So here we go. One of my favorite groups here, the Animals. This is like a reissue, and kind of show you some detail there. Digitally remastered from original master recordings, 100% vinyl. Sounds really great. I like the Animals. Wasn't really a big fan of this group, but I read that in '64 they were almost outselling the Beatles, and that would be the Dave Clark 5. This is an original. You can see what was on this one. On Epic. And of course, pretty soon they already had enough hits so that they had an original package of greatest hits. I'm trying to show this without the reflections of the sleeve here. This is Epic, also on Epic. You see that? And then apparently the Dave Clark 5 made a movie called Having a Wild Weekend. I never saw this movie. I've never seen it on TV or anything, but that'd be interesting to see what was on there. Let's see real close. I'd rather have a nice quiet weekend after a hectic work week. Now, this woman was a little bit older than most of her contemporaries, but she made some pretty good pop hits over here and in England. And this is Petula Clark, Downtown. This is an absolute, I think Downtown is probably one of the greatest, pop hits of the 60s, really. She was a singer, actress. I know she was in, I was thinking of a movie she was in. I think she was in Goodbye, Mr. Chips with Peter O'Toole, which was kind of like a musical. She sings in that. But here we got into the more kind of a folk rock guy and pop guy. This was Donovan. Of course, this was Sunshine Superman. I think this came out, what, '66 maybe? This is an original. I like Donovan. A lot of guys worked with him too. Paul McCartney worked with him. I think Jimmy Page, later of Led Zeppelin, obviously. I think he played on a lot of his records, guitar on a lot of his records. Here's Hurdy-Gurdy Man. Let's see what was on there. Jennifer Juniper, Hurdy-Gurdy Man, and some other ones there. Those were the two hits I know from this. This one is very easy to find, I know, at thrift stores. This is his whatever early greatest hits record. He's got. It's on the back there. This is a reissue. Best of Jerry and the Pacemakers. Let's see what was on there. No, I Like It. is on there. He had like maybe 2 or 3 big hits, as you probably know. Ferry Across the Mersey. Okay, and another guy from, I don't know if he's from London or from Liverpool, the north. Hermits. And this was on there. And I want to, this is kind of a, maybe some of you collectors, you find this maybe as annoying as I do, whether you find records at a thrift store or at a resale store. Why do people buy a record and write their name all over it? And I'm not going to pull out the disc. I don't know if it's on the disc. Why if you're going to write your name on it, why do you get rid of it later? It's like if it becomes collectible, it kind of ruins the value. It's like if you're going to brand it by putting your name on it, keep it. Don't give it away. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being a jerk about it. I don't know. But I come across that, you know, so many times. You might find a record that has some collectible value, but people write their names on it or whatever, write it on the disc or whatever. It's like, well, then why did they get rid of it? Anyway, I'm going off on a tangent there. There's another one, Best of Hermits. There's Peter on the back there for all these, you know, I'm sure a lot of teenage girls bought these records, which is probably why it's kind of hard to find. So a lot of these records are not in great shape because, you know, they were probably bought by, you know, kids that, you know, they played it on their cheap, you know, portable phonograph that they had in their bedroom or whatever, so they may not sound, they may be worn or not sound as well. Here's volume 2 of Best of Hermits. Here he is again. And if you didn't think that's enough of Hermits, here's both sides of Hermits. Kind of a caricature cartoon of them and some of these famous people of the time there. I know who these people are. Some of you younger ones don't, but it was kind of funny. Okay, then we got a couple of famous duos here. This is a I don't know if this was the greatest hits at the time. Best of Peter and Gordon was the Capital Starline disc here. Let's see what was on there. What was else? We'll see what else was on at the time. A lot of the, you know, old fart music that their parents were listening to. Then another duo, famous duo, was Chad and Jeremy, before and after here. Let's see whatever that was. See what was on there. And another one, Chad and Jeremy, Don't Want to Lose You, blah blah. Let's see what was on that one. And I've only played this one once, but their version of Mr. Tambourine Man, it sounds, I swear it sounds even better. It sounds a lot like the Byrds version, but it actually sounds, I think, even better. Because I think they played like a 12-string electric, probably a Rickenbacker like Roger McGuinn. But I swear that track really sounds great. I think they outdid the Byrds on that. Okay, here's the Best of Chad and Jeremy, kind of their early hits. Let's see what was on there. Now this guy here, he was kind of a one-hit wonder, and I found 2 copies of this on 2 different labels. Crispy and St. Peter's, the Pied Piper. This one was in really good shape. It's on London, but I don't think that was the original distributor over here. I think the original one was this one, on Jamie, and Jamie was a small company, I think, on the East Coast here in New York or something. Those were both mono albums too. This one I might have shown this one already. I'm not sure. The Hollies Greatest Hits. I was really kind of excited to find this one because it had a couple tracks on here that I haven't heard for like since I was a kid. Was I'm Alive. That's one of my personal favorites. And I Can't Let Go. Those two tracks, oldies stations over here, they hardly ever play those. They might play a couple of other ones here, like Bus Stop, you know, but those other ones I just mentioned, I almost never hear. This one I showed before, the Kinks' Greatest Hits. This is, like I said, this was a really great copy. It's in mono. It's like excellent condition. And this was a reissue that I bought at a record store many years ago. New. This is on Pi, which I guess was their British label or whatever. It's a double, I think it's a triple album, triple disc. But it's got like everything from when they started to like to 8 Man, which I think came out in like 1970. So this one is a reissue also. This was a early from mid 60s was band that I think the Beatles cited as really liking. This was the Searchers. This is a reissue. This was on Rhino Records. This, I think I bought this in like the late 1980s at a store. And I don't have many Who records, but this was kind of like a compilation of their early hits. This is pretty easy to find. It's got all their, you know, their early stuff here, if you can see that. Now this band, I remember there was an interview with Derek Taylor, and if you know who he was like the press agent for the Beatles, and he also worked for the American band The Byrds, and he mentioned that this band was even wiping out the Americans on the charts over here, and this was Freddie and the Dreamers, and they had their freaking novelty record here, but they also have some other bands British bands on here. If you can see that. The Truggery 5 I heard about. You know, let's see what else is on there. Do the Freddie. You can do the Freddie. So I hope you enjoyed that. And my next video, I'm going to make kind of like America Strikes Back at the British invasion, or rivals them, and I'll feature groups like the Young Rascals and other groups of the mid 60s who came along and kind of like got back a share of the singles charts or whatever. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll probably make another video a lot sooner. Before I do go, I thought I'd show you a little local beer here. It's nothing like a beer after a long work week here. It's a little Fat Squirrel Ale. This is in New Glarus. This is a kind of a town in southern Wisconsin here, and it's really good beer. So until then, I hope you have a good one. I'll see you later.